Well, greetings once again. This is Dr. Bill Bailey, and this is the Handheld Hack. The Handheld Hack is our excursion into handheld portable devices and information that will help you with your handheld device. So, looking forward to getting in some neat stuff this week. Let me remind you, we are proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's right here on the Handheld Hack. Now, little news to start with here. We, the Handheld Hack, were hacked. Sadly, it can happen. And when it does, you're kind of at the mercy of the hacker and what they did. Well, I'll tell you what they did. They deleted the entire website. I saw no files, no images, no nothing when I went out there on the server to look at it. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding. So I have spent a lot of sleepless nights, and I mean that very literally, sleepless nights getting all the images back. Fortunately, the database backups were okay. The file backups were not. And so we had to do a restore, in quotes, by actually just rebuilding the site essentially from scratch. So the site is back out there. You may notice some cosmetic differences because I literally had to rebuild it again. From scratch, but it is back out there. All the same articles and all the information are still there. So go to the Handheld Hack, handheldhack.com, and you'll be able to see kind of what we were able to do in terms of restoring it. Man, I tell you, it's like the Wild Wild West out on the internet. I've said that many times before. All right, let's look into some of the things on this particular edition. This is edition number 19 of the Handheld Hack. And we'll start today talking about Ben Heck. Ben Heckendorn is another podcaster, netcaster as myself, you know. However, his particular expertise is in building electronic devices. He is a hardware engineer of electronic devices. I am more of a server engineer in terms of VMware, Citrix, computing of that nature, kind of the virtualized front end and back end world of things. So the hardware side, though, is interesting to me. I love to build computers as kind of as a hobby, and I've helped people along those lines to build my own. So building stuff, though, is what Ben is all about. Ben Heck, he has a program called the Ben Heck Show, and he had a session, actually two of his shows, which I have linked here on the Handheld Hack blog. These shows are on building your own portable Raspberry Pi, and the way he designed it is almost like a little handheld gaming device. It's really slick looking. Matter of fact, let me just put up an image of it here over in the corner, and you'll see it is pretty cool what it looks like. And he actually built this himself. He engineers even the cases and everything else. It's really fascinating stuff. So I encourage you to watch these two shows, part 1 and part 2, on building your own portable Raspberry Pi and seeing the power that's in this little handheld device. I tell you, it's amazing what you can do with a Raspberry Pi. Now, speaking of handheld devices, which of course is what we're all about here, the Chinese have developed a handheld gaming device. It is the Magic Media i5, that's what they call it, and it is a handheld Android game console. It is, as you might imagine, coming from China, very inexpensive, and it will play Android games. Now, it says MediaTek, this is the company, the Chinese company that's developed it. MediaTek seems to be on a roll. The company's dual and quad-core chips seem to be powering virtually every new Android smartphone popping up in China these days, although Allwinner and Rock chips seem to be more popular in the tablet and TV box space. MediaTek's first 8-core chip is on the way, but it looks like MediaTek's chips aren't just confined to smartphones, I should say. Chinese device maker MediaTek makes the hardware. Much, M-U-C-H, is the company launching the handheld device. Get that straight. The handheld game console is called Magic Media i5. It's powered by an MTK, which is the MediaTek 6589 quad-core chip. So quad-core processor in this handheld device. It measures 5 inches, has a 1280 by 720 pixel IPS display, and the game control buttons and direction pads built into the sides of the case. It looks like a cross between a Sony PSP and an Arcos, or Archos, depending on how you pronounce that, gamepad. Under the hood, the device has MediaTek's 1.2 gigahertz ARM Cortex-A7 chip with the PowerVR SGX 544MP graphics, 1 gig of RAM, and 4 gigs of storage. It also has a micro SD card slot for extra storage space. It's running Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean. That's the latest version of Jelly Bean Android, and has a front and rear camera and features a 3,550 milliamp per hour battery. Also has 2G, I should say, and 3G capable device with dual SIM card slots. It's expected to sell a little over $200, which is really competitive for all of those specs in a handheld device. So pretty cool. I'd love to get my hands on one and play with it, as I usually would with all technology, but anyway. Also, by the way, I talked about my Nexus 10 tablet. Man, I tell you, I am really enjoying that tablet. It is just awesome. And I recently got a cable that allows me to connect it up to my HD TV here in the living room. And I'm telling you, there's nothing like having your tablet up on the big screen and being able to sit here with the tablet and control what's going on in your TV, watch YouTube, watch Netflix, and everything through the tablet. And since the Nexus 10 is full 1080p, I'm telling you, it looks awesome on the big screen. So, thumbs up for that. If you've been wondering about a Nexus 10, you ought to check it out because it's really pretty cool. I know everybody's got their favorite. I like mine because that's the one that I have. But I'm telling you, and I got a good deal on it too. Got it used off of eBay for $100 less than a full price unit. So, dude, I really, and it was in perfect, I'm talking perfect condition, not a scratch on it. Everything works. Whew, tell you, sometimes you just got to take those chances, you know what I mean? But this one paid off. So, remember, you're only as good as your last hack.